Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Carver Earth Removal Committee meeting of December 2nd, 2025, last one of this calendar year. We're in meeting room 1 at the town hall. It is 3 o'clock, and I thank you all for being present today. Despite the wonderful weather we're having, at least it's rain and not snow.
Absolutely.
So everybody, if you could just do me a favor and silence your cell phones. Board members, of course, will be recognized first, and if we have a point that the audience is going to be allowed, we'll call on you after that for a period of not for more than 2 minutes. Either myself or Roger, the acting chair, will have the right to stop any conversation. Area 58, thank you very much, as always, for being here and helping us out through this. You are recording. Is there anybody else recording today?
Catherine Harrelson.
Thank you, Catherine.
Recording.
Really appreciate it. And if anybody's going to speak, if you could just make sure you do sign in, just so Susan has it for the minutes, for the record. And Susan, thank you so much for your minutes. I was reading them, and they are spot on. So thank you very much for your great work. With that, we'll move right on to the approval of the minutes from November the 4th. If anybody's got, I'll entertain a motion in a second, and then we can discuss.
I move that we approve the minutes as written.
Roger, do I have a second?
I second.
Mike, thank you. Do we have any discussion on the minutes as presented? Again, I mean, Susan, thank you very much. It was like a step down memory lane, even though it was only a month ago. Almost like I was there. Thank you very much. Anything else from anybody? All right, with that, all in favor of accepting the minutes as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? 4-0. Thank you very much. So as we've been doing this for quite some time now, the next potential meeting date following our protocol would be for the first Tuesday in January, which is the 6th at 3 o'clock in this room. Everybody good with the 6th?
I'm good.
Okay. We'll have to, Rob, you good with January 6th?
Actually, I'm not going to be here on the 6th.
Okay. Does it hurt your feelings if we have it on the 6th anyway?
You could do that.
Okay, thank you. So the 6th at 3 o'clock, it is. As in the past, and now it's more important than ever, I've been asking for Earth Removal Committee volunteer members from the town of Carver. We are now in need of a member, or 3 to be exact. So this board does not function without a quorum. Nothing gets done. We can discuss, we can chat, but we can't make any action. We can't take any action. And I just received I'm going to call it a retirement letter from Mr. Ward, who has given us many, many, many seasons of service. So for that, Mr. Ward, I thank you very much for your years of service.
I've enjoyed serving my community. There were times it gets difficult, but we get through it. And I'm at a point where I have to retire.
And again, I understand, I know the board does as well, and we sincerely thank you very much for everything you've done for us and for the community.
Is that effective as this is your last meeting day?
Yes. January 1st.
Thank you.
Well, I was hoping he would change his mind. I haven't opened the letter yet, so.
I've been thinking about it for a while.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
it does, and again, thank you very much. So with that, out to the members in the audience and out to the people at home, we are looking. Again, without a quorum, it gets very difficult to conduct town business, whether we agree with the decisions or not. It is integral to the town to make sure we can do these things. So, with that, Agent Pike, do you have anything for us today, my man?
I do. So most of my report is the site visits that we had, and I
Okay.
know you're gonna go through those, so I can mention a couple of things that are outside of that, and
Please
then when we do the site visits, I'll just take it from here.
I would love that.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I did a truck count at 104 Tremont Street. And that's the site where they increased, a temporary increase from 50 to 70 truckloads. And my count there ended up being 51. So they're under their 70. And then at the site visit, the gentleman we spoke with mentioned that his truck counts, I think largely have been under that, but it's nice to have that flexibility to be able to do what they're doing so they can continue with their project. So, and as far as that site visit goes, it was a sunny day, there was a light wind, there were light dust conditions that as they started to pick up, none of it got into the street, but it started to pick up, and then as with the last time I did it, visit there, they did the dust mitigation with the water truck.
Excellent.
It was very effective, it knocked it right down. And there was, that's the site that, oh, it had the potholes developing at the entrance on the apron, and that's something that at the site visit, they actually said he plans to do a 10-foot cutback and put new asphalt down and address that, because you get the big trucks going through and some pretty large potholes starting to develop. But other than that, let's see, so that was that site. And then the other thing I did was at 59 Federal Road, I had made a comment about, during my truck count, I noticed that there was some debris building up in the road. And since then, I've done 2 unannounced drive-by visits just to see the conditions there. And it was clear of debris, it looked good. So, other than that, it's all these other things that I'll address when we do the site visits.
Thank you very much. All right, so with that, we'll start on the discussion of the two site visits. We're not going to discuss the Pond Street visit that you guys made as I stayed with Mr. Weston. Judy was there and would like to be present for that conversation, so we'll hold that piece of the puzzle out for today. So I'll start with Mr. Ward at 104 Tremont Street. When we were out there on the 22nd at 8 o'clock in the rain.
In the rain, yeah. I was...
Hold on one second.
I'm sorry to interrupt. May I just hand out something that's relevant to this particular topic? It's just a couple of pictures.
Sure. You're very much out of protocol, but I'll give you the grace as you just walked in.
Thank you.
Hello.
She just needs your name for the minutes.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ward, sorry for the interruption.
No, I was happy to see that first phase was completed, ready to plant. There was a little bit of additional work that needed to get done on one side of the dike road. Yeah, everything was completed, and they're going to that will get planted as soon as planting season is available. The other second phase seemed to be progressing the way that it's supposed to, and the yardage seems to be in compliance. And then the third phase, which, as the gentleman that we visited with, has said that they need to get started on stripping some of the vegetation off of that so that they can work with that, with the trucking and there's a little bit of a geographical thing there that they need to work around, so they needed to start that project. So I was good with most of the things that they've done. They're going as they've said.
Thank you. Mr. Harrison?
Sure. I was at the Pontiff site, and at the entrance, the road was beaten up, and as the road had indicated, they're going to be fixing that within the next couple of weeks. Might even be done now.
Excuse me, could you speak up?
Grab the mic.
Speak right into the microphone there, Mike.
Hello.
That better?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So the site at the entrance was a little beat up. The applicant had mentioned it to us right away. He said he's going to be working on it. Now, at the site 1, the cranberry bog was dug out. They say they're not going to remove any additional material from that area. They're working on section 2, project part 2, and they have sloped and seeded along the back edge, and the next site they've asked to do site 3, where they would strip the trees off and do the topsoil to start, if it was approved by the committee. And everything's on schedule, and other than that, nothing else.
Thank you very much. Mr. Shores?
Yeah, I also noted that the apron of the road needs attention. Phase 1, the excavation's complete. Sloping and seeding was complete on about 80% of that phase. The bog is at grade and sand, and we were notified that planting and the remainder of the seeding will be completed in the spring. I look at phase 1 as all but complete at this point. Phase 2 looked like more than 60%, and I'm throwing numbers off the top of my head, but it looked like more than 60% of the excavation was complete. And in phase 3 hasn't started, but I understand we're going to have a request for that today, which I'm in favor of. The overall site was clean and organized, and that's what I've got.
Thank you. Mr. Pike?
So what I have to say pretty much mirrors what they said. The site was clean and organized. They're going to do that 10-foot cutback at the entrance with the new apron. Phase 1 was pretty complete, just they needed to do some hydro seeding on the slope, I guess. And it looked nice, they did a nice job. Phase 2 is ongoing, and they've got a lot of very large rocks that's splitting up into manageable pieces. And then phase 3 is ready to begin with the approval of the committee. Let's see, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to mirror what everybody else said. I was there. Phase 1, I'm going to call substantially complete as well. It does look fantastic. Phase 2, they're attacking it from both sides, which made me very happy. They're working their way towards the middle. So as far as I'm concerned, it's very neat, clean, orderly site, and one which the rest of the applicant should mirror, to be quite frank. On to anybody have anything else for that site? We're good? On to the next site, which was permit number 102, excuse me, rear of Plymouth Street, map 48, lot 8, part 2-0. I'll start with Mr. Pike.
Okay, so this was, my understanding, a routine visit to monitor their activity and progress. Again, the site was neat, clean, and organized. The permit holder reports that the tailwater recovery pond is nearly complete. I recall from the last time we were there, it was in sections, and it looks like they've just about got it all connected together. And that way there minimizes the need for excessive movement, the pumping of water from one area to another. They had a large rock crusher on the site. It was under repair at the time. I guess that can get a little noisy. And then the permit holder reported that he had addressed complaints from last winter, and he was explaining the tunnel effect of the wind along the trees where it funneled the wind through, and it sort of focused the sand more on certain homes that you wouldn't think that, an area that you wouldn't think that would get the brunt of that, but apparently those were the homes that were affected by the sand issue. And other than that, it looks like the progress there is proceeding the way it should be. It looked good, the site looked good.
Thank you. Everything Rob said I concur with as well. We did have those discussions, and the reason why we were there is last year we did have a wind issue, we had a dust issue. The applicant and the contractor both were there. We did get into it at a very detailed way. That the nuisance material seems to be gone. It's a very coarse soil there now. They are on it. They have protocols in place. I would highly encourage any neighbors that are having problems to get a hold of us through the town hall, and we can get Agent Pike out to look at it if there is in fact a dust issue early. I want to make sure that we don't have a repeat of last year. They are on it, we've been told, so we're going to take them at their word at this point, but we are, in fact, that's the reason why we were there. The project is progressing. They seem to think they would sometime next summer, by end of next summer, that project would be complete. That was their timeline and their goal, from what I recall. Roger?
Yeah, it was good to see the equipment on site because it's been dormant for some time. Significant reduction in the size of the material piles than we've seen in the past, which is good for the winter. Some excavation remaining, but they're expecting the excavation portion to be finished in the spring. The overall site was clean and organized, and they also mentioned that they had material on hand, binding material, in the event that we have another wind and dust issue. That's what I have.
Mike?
Sure. This was the site of rear of Plymouth Street, the Eric Weston project. Mr. Weston was present, as well as the contractor, Mike Obachetsky. The progress was continuing. The tailwater recovery pond has improved with this year's harvest. So it greatly assisted them in performing the harvest. It was neat and orderly. They'll complete the excavation by September or probably the end of the year. They're making progress towards the final goal of removal of the material.
Thank you
That's
very
it.
much. Mr. What?
I concur with what you folks have said. I was concerned both connecting the tailwater and the irrigation pond. That's going to happen shortly. Very little material has to come out in order to connect them. That will help a great deal on running pumps and things right for any of the neighbors up on the hill. So I was happy with that, and I was happy to see that the fine materials are gone, because they're what makes it dust. So anyway, I concur pretty much with what you folks saw. I saw the same.
All right, so again, we're not going to talk about the Pond Street stuff. Judy wanted to discuss it when she's here next time. So with that, it's the board's pleasure if we want to go out for another set of site visits in the month of December. My vote would be not necessary. We've done the active 5 permits in the last 2 months.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I'd say we take the month off, do what we need to do that way.
Okay.
Obviously, if we do get a complaint from a resident due to dust, that will be something that gets communicated through Jen and through Rob, that we may have to go out and look at something. I don't anticipate it, but just keep that on your radar screen, just in case. Okay. All right, Mr. Diamond, we're on to 104 Tremont Street. and the ask that you had made beginning of the month, I guess, for cutting at Phase 3.
Yes, sir. So just to add a couple footnotes to you guys' recent site visit, I did want to note for everyone here that the potholes that you mentioned were not on the town of Carver Road. They were on our property. Obviously, I'm going to address them. They still haven't been repaired. I'm having a difficult time scheduling with the paper, but they're on the list. Something else that I did want to mention is that Phase 1, someone had said that the hydro seeding wasn't completed on some of the slopes. It actually is completed on the slopes. We've actually hydro seeded well into Phase 2 at this point. So what you saw that wasn't hydro seeded was actually in Phase 2.
Thank you.
What you didn't see completed in Phase 1 was the hydro seeding of the bog ditches. So again, we ran out of season. That'll be completed, as will the planting of the vines as soon as weather breaks and allows for such. So on to Phase 3. So last time I sat in front of you guys and requested Phase 2, I mentioned this, some of you guys kind of looked at me like I was jumping the gun and I had 3 heads. At that time I explained that it does take a while to get, the tree cutters lined up, then stripping topsoil, et cetera, et cetera. And when we completed Phase 1 and moved into Phase 2, we were up against it. We had, I'd say we could have eked out another maybe 2 or 3 weeks operationally before we would have had to stop. So now I'm here sitting in front of you guys asking for Phase 3. Phase 2, I haven't done a topo lately, but I would say Phase 2 is roughly, we're about halfway there. We're getting into it. There's a big valley in the back of the project, so the face size is going to go down substantially. And then again, moving into Phase 3, it's essentially going to be like we're starting the project over again. It's not a continuous, Phase 1 and 2 were continuous. Phase 3, there is a break due to how the bog's laid out, so we're going to be starting essentially from scratch all over again. It's going to be a little more laborious getting into it. We're coming into winter. I need to cut the trees, everything I've already explained. So that's why I'm in front of you guys asking for Phase 3 now.
Well, when we were out there, we did have the opportunity, just so happened that you had sent the email to Jen and through the earth removal to be on the agenda for today, so we were able to look at that. So for that, the timing just worked out well. For my opinion, at the rate you guys are moving soil, at the way it's going, I think it's prudent to keep it going, just to keep the process moving forward, so we're not dragging it out. As Mike mentioned, and we talked about it out there, we all saw it, there is a break due to the bogs. To get into that next phase is going to be a bit of, I think it's going to be a bit like starting from scratch, to be quite frank.
It is.
I personally am in favor of it. The one thing I will say is I did have a phone call from a passerby that had talked about dust on the street on a particular day. I had a very nice conversation with Joanne. She had said that the dust was in complete concert with the fact that you guys were actually cleaning the street.
Okay.
So the one thing I will implore of you is that if there is a day when you are cleaning the street, and for that I do thank you. I'm sure John Woods and the DPW does too, just to make sure that we've got some water out there so it holds the dust back.
Yeah, so...
And as Mr. Pike had mentioned, you guys are doing a very good job with the mitigation on the dirt road. One of the other things she said, it did seem like it was blowing, but it wasn't reaching the street at that point.
Okay.
So, very happy to report that that was a very nice phone call from a concerned resident.
Yep.
So I'm just bringing it to you on her behalf.
Okay. So I mean, this time of year, there is issues of freeze. What we're doing is putting down calcium pellets to mitigate the dust. The section where it transfers onto the asphalt, obviously the calcium pellets are essentially ineffective. There's nothing we can do there. So we were sweeping. What I can do is keep in mind we can try and control when we're going to be sweeping and put down water, or we'll sweep after rain if it's needed.
We've all been behind the town street sweeper and had that very same issue when the town's been sweeping the streets as well. So for that, again, I do appreciate you guys keeping the street clean. Whatever you can do to help in that regard would be very much appreciated.
Yep.
I just needed to bring that up in relation to this next phase. Again, it's my thought that moving forward with the cutting of the phase 3, just like we did, no material is to be moved until we approve it off of there, off-site. No materials to be moved off-site, just like we did phase 2 would be my intention. But I'd love for you guys to weigh in here.
Well, yeah. I'm thinking about phase 2, and I'm thinking so that the project to move along, I think we need to see it start in on the phase 3, because that's going to be extended. But when you bring those two parts of phase 2 together, that will complete the phase 2 pretty fast, I would think.
Phase 2, again, we haven't done a topo, but I would say weather according, we have another maybe 3 months of material, probably
So
less than that.
I would think that this is the right, to complete this project, that needs to happen now, so that you get the jump on finishing that.
Yeah, that's correct. Like I said, it's a little bit more tricky in the wintertime.
Well, that vegetative area, trees and everything in between the two phases, which is, natural, and you're gonna have to get around that anyway, so. That's where I'm at.
Thank you. Mr. Harrison, is it yours?
I think it's prudent to get a start on phase 3, so I'm in agreement with moving forward.
Anything to continue this project on time and hopefully even have it done sooner than expected is I'm in favor of.
All right, so what I would suggest is I'll entertain a motion.
Any public comment?
Not tonight.
Nothing about the notice of intent to sue and all the violations and the fraud and everything?
We're talking about this right now, so
No public comment?
no, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve the ask for cutting at phase 3 on the 104 Pontiff Fremont Street.
How many get?
Cutting and stripping.
Cutting and stripping, sorry.
All right, cutting and stripping we start now in phase 3.
Just so you know, this is a wetlands violation and is operating in violation of the Wetlands Protection Act.
Can you hold your comments, please? Thank you very much. We have a motion?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Dick and Roger. Do we have any further discussion from the board?
No comments from town council? So it's okay to approve something that...
Can
Sorry,
you
you're very
please-
rude. Can you please be quiet?
The outbursts are not very welcome. So if you could do me a favor and keep the comments to yourself, be much appreciated. Thank you. All those in favor of the motion on the floor, signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Mike, thank you very much.
Appreciate
See
it.
you in court.
Is this a public meeting?
All right, we are now looking for a project update based on our last October site visits. Mike and Judy and Mr. Pike went to the Makepeace sites. Bill, are you here to talk with us about 59 Federal Road for 80 Makepeace?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Any comment on this? Any public comment on this one?
Nope,
No, okay.
thank you. If you'd like to come right on up, Bill, that'd be great. So it was noticed that at 59 Federal Road, we have a very large platform with no cranberry bog construction. So what we, the board, asked town council to do is look back through all the documentation and see what we could come up with, what was the will of the board at the time, which was back in 2020, about this particular site, as to what the conditions, what the orders of conditions were. Amy, if you'd like to weigh in on what you found as far as the information that Jen had sent to you from the files.
Sure. So, Amy Questle, Town Council. So, what I found was, or what I was provided with, sorry, I'm just going to pull it up so because I put it in chronological order. So, get out of my notes here. Okay, so all of the documents that I'm referring to are for map 131 lot 1-2C. On May 18th, 2020, there was an application requesting the removal of 4,045,500 cubic yards, and that was supposed to take 36 months. There was a plan dated June 29th, 2020, which indicates the removal of 4,160,400 cubic yards. There was no mention of phases on the plan, but the plan does indicate 6 separate areas. On July 10th, 2020, there's an order of conditions, which I'm referring to as order of conditions number 1, which allows the removal of 4,045,500 cubic yards to take 36 months. So that order of conditions number 1 reflects the application, the May 18th, 2020 application. There's also an order of conditions dated July 10th, 2020, the exact same date, which I'm calling order of conditions number 2, which allows phase 1, and that's the removal of 358,200 cubic yards to take 18 to 36 months, and phase 2, which is the removal of 781,600 cubic yards, which also was to take 18 to 36 months. The two July order of conditions, if we combined those two, the total cubic yards would be 5,185,300. There's also an email from Darlene on July 10th. There was also an email of 2020. There was also an email from Darlene Whitmore to Gary Gerritsen, who was the chair at the time, stating that it's her understanding the project will take 6 to 7 years. So what I cannot reconcile is the amount of material that was to be removed, and then the amount of material that was removed, and the timing and how this was supposed to be done. It doesn't, order of conditions number 2 does not specifically state that phase 1 would be 18 to 36 months, and then phase 2 would happen after that. I think it's safe to assume that, since we have phase 1 and phase 2. So though phase 2 could presumably still be ongoing, because if you have the 3 years and then the next 3 years it could still be going, it would also be subject to the Permit Extension Act, which Mr. Madden did send something in writing that he is considering this subject to the Permit Extension Act. But if that's the case, then that's only for order of conditions number 2. Order of conditions number 1, which is the only one that matches the application, seems that it might have expired.
Okay. So, based on your findings of that, can you help us, guide us on how to proceed from here?
I can't. We need information from the applicant. We need
Okay.
information from Makepeace as to what exactly is going on here, because I'm not sure, I don't know if, I'm not sure what happened in 2020.
And like I mentioned at the last meeting, Roger and I were not here, neither was Judy, and certainly not Mr. Pike. So that's one of the reasons why we wanted to start looking at this.
Yep.
The other piece of that was that we've got an applicant at 104 Tremont Street that were holding their feet to the fire to be substantially complete before they go from phase 1 to 2 to 2 to 3. And in your research in this orders of conditions 1 and 2, did you happen to find anything that suggested that there should be substantial completion of a bog or the site at that time?
No, there was nothing stated there, and there's no plan showing what phase 1 is and what phase 2 is.
Okay.
And I don't understand how we have two different phase 1s on the same
Okay.
property, issued on the same date. So there's just a lot of, I have a lot of unanswered questions, unfortunately.
I'm guessing, Bill, that you were present at that time in 2020 with the Makepeace Company doing this. Is there any color you can add to this for us to help us out here?
Not at the present time. I mean, I would have to really go through the files some time ago.
Okay.
I don't know if the phase 1 to the phase 2 might have been something to do with the solar project on that site also, because I recall that there was a phase 1 that encompassed a portion of the solar site, and I don't know if there was earth removal associated with that. Our work was focused solely on the earth removal for the cranberries side of things.
All right, what I might suggest then is, as we go forward in this discussion period, and you guys can help me out, chime in here anytime you want, what I think we really need to do is have Bill through Makepeace, excuse me, really dig into exactly what was the order of conditions granted at the time, what that order of conditions spelled out as far as substantial completion or not, it might not have been. When it was brought to my attention, it just started a flurry of questions throughout the board as to what is in compliance and what is out of compliance. So that's kind of where we're wanting to dig in a little bit here, just so we can understand what a previous board did, so that we can help it through, help the project get done. We have residents from Cranberry Village that have been very, very patient with this project. They would like to see an end to it, as would this board, I'm certain. So at that point, whatever help you can give us in adding color to what the board in 2020 approved.
The numbers also have to match up. We've got to
Yeah.
figure that out.
It seems very confusing
Yes.
that you have an order of conditions, 2 orders of conditions issued on the very same day for 2 very different numbers.
Correct, and we also have plans. The only plans that I was provided with do not match either one of the numbers.
Okay.
The numbers on the planners is about, I'm not very good at math, it's about $60,000 cubic yards more, I think, than the application.
Okay. So in part of your digging for us, Mr. Madden, if you could provide certainly to the Earth Removal Committee copies of those plans. I don't think we need 9 copies or whatever. I think we just need a few. So Amy, you can look at them, and probably 3 or 4 copies for the board here that we can look at them as we're discussing things. If you can get those to Jen at the office here, that'd be spectacular. She can disseminate them out. We are, as a fairly newly minted board in the last couple of years, we're trying to navigate this system and find out, and unfortunately, we're finding out some sins of the past, I think. And that's really not a great find for me. So what I'm really looking for is clarity. That's why I've asked town council to be here with us, so she can provide us that clarity and opinions that can help us navigate through this.
Okay.
So, anything from the board? I see you. Just bear with me.
I'm just trying to understand, the big concern here is there's no cranberry bogs that have been built.
Yes, sir, that's
So
correct.
we're
So,
doing
Mr.
this
Schwartz,
project.
The plans that are, the plans that I received, that are associated with the information I just gave you, those all show bogs, none of them show solar.
Right, they all
So-
show cranberry bogs.
Yes,
and
they
there's-
do.
So we're going since 2020, so 5 years now, and there's no cranberry bogs. I think that's the fundamental concern of the board here is why haven't they been constructed and what's really going on or what's really the intent of the project?
We did find, Amy, I think, spelled it out very nicely last month, that these projects are contingent upon an end use. And the fact of the matter is the end use on the plan that I've seen as well does show Cranberry Farm. What I see there is a sand pit floor. So based on that, again, it's a compliance, non-compliance issue to me, is that if the board in 2020 did not specify that you had to have a cranberry bog in the ground or at least shaked out before phase 2 is squared away type of thing, that is on them, and that is what we have to deal with today. So that's, in my opinion, that's a compliance, non-compliance piece. We also need to have a timeline. So that's where I'm at. Mr. White, do you have anything?
No, I'm just concerned with the idea that we submitted as a committee at that time, an order of conditions for a permit. And these aren't just right on file. The paperwork part.
Yeah.
I mean, how come they're not on a file cabinet downstairs?
I have copies of all this. Want me to send it to you?
Actually, I'd like the applicant to send it to us if that would make your life a little bit easier.
Oh, yeah. All the information is there, the
So,
files are there, the plans, it's
You
nothing
see,
there.
you
It's
see
not
what
a
we're doing,
Cranberry Bog project.
you see what we're asking for, and I'm asking for it from the applicant's engineer. So that,
That makes-
Mr. Ward,
yeah,
concerns me
yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the old-fashioned way. That's what I am, the old-fashioned guy. But I would think that, we'd be able to line that right up if we had the paperwork.
Right. Mike, do you have anything to add? Okay. There is a question in the back. Thank you for your patience.
Sure. So in the meantime, are you going to allow for operations to continue on an expired order of conditions?
It is not expired.
I thought you just said, I thought Attorney Questle said it was.
No, I said I don't know. I said it, they might be done with the first order of conditions and they're working on order of conditions number 2. These are things we just don't know.
Well, you also said that Mr. Madden had a notification to us that under the
Under the Permit Extension
The Permit
Act.
Extension
I'm
Act.
not certain that order of conditions number 1 would have, order of conditions number 1 would have been from 2020 to 2023. So it would have been in effect January of 2023, which means it gets another 2 years. So it could have expired, it might not have expired.
and that's my problem as well. So, and that's...
But also, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, I'm sorry. But also, we don't know if they're doing work under order of conditions number 1.
Correct.
Or order of conditions number 2, or both, which doesn't seem to make sense because, again, every document that I reviewed definitely had the map and the lot on it. So we are just talking about that one property. And so, I'm not really sure what order they're working under.
So I'm happy that you're confused as I am.
Yeah.
And that's,
What are the two orders of conditions that you're talking about?
we are looking into it, and that's exactly what we're here
Can you
for.
just say the dates again?
They're both dated July 10th, 2020, and the first one was for 4,040,45500. And then the second one is the same date, Meg, and it's 2 phases. Phase 1 is 358,200. Phase 2 is 781,600.
That's the one that I have, that's date stamped by the town clerk on July 24th. So is the other one stamped in by the clerk?
Let me look.
So there was a question from a very polite young lady behind you that's raising her hand and doing things appropriately.
Michelle Hatfield.
I didn't even notice that.
While you are determining this, is it the plan to allow operations to continue?
It is.
And what's the rationale then?
The rationale is we don't know if we're right or if we're wrong. That's the rationale.
And so you allow it to continue?
We are. We will continue to let that happen until we can get to the very bottom of this, and then we will take action at that point. Once we find out that we are either in compliance or we are out of compliance. Right now, there is a little bit of a concern.
Didn't even notice that.
So, the only way this project gets done is to, you don't want to leave it like that. You just don't. We can't leave it fallow. It has to continue. We need to get to the bottom of it. If we then find out we're out of compliance, we'll stop the project, we'll close the permit if it's in line with what town council finds for us, and then they'll have a public hearing and we'll reopen, or we'll revote and we'll revisit. That's how it'll work. Right now, we're gonna continue that they are innocent until proven guilty, okay? Because that's really how it has to look.
Doesn't look that way.
It might not to you, and that's okay, and that's why we can agree to disagree. So for that, I do appreciate your comments, I truly do. We're trying to find out, we're trying to get to the bottom of this.
Well,
At least,
maybe just Henry versus Board of Appeals of Dunstable, an Old Colony Boy Scouts Council of Plymouth.
if I was a lawyer, I'd probably know those things.
Well, you probably should, and maybe should consult with your counsel, because this is a de facto quarry and does not qualify as agriculture under the laws of the Supreme Judicial Court of this state.
So thank you very much for your comments. So, Attorney Questle, next steps, if you can help us out here. We've asked the applicant's engineer to provide us with some documentation and some color on this. Is there anything else you can think of that we need from them?
So I can, my email, Jen was on my email today with the timeline. If maybe she could forward that to Mr. Madden, and he can try and reconcile the numbers. That would be a big help. But the second thing is that, again, we need to know the end use. We need to have, that end use has to start to appear. Because if not, they are doing commercial earth removal in a zone that is not allowed under zoning. So they're in violation of zoning. So their permit and their plans clearly show bogs. So we need to have a timeline as to when those bogs are going to be put in.
So for when you can report back to us through the applicant, that will be something that we're really going to look forward to. We're going to hold feet to the fire on this one, on all of them for that matter. But we just, any information, Bill, that you think can add to this board to get things correct will be much appreciated.
So you're taking information from the
Hold on.
public, or just the
If you could raise your hand like this nice young lady over here, she was first.
Sometime in the spring of this year, Makepeace, I don't know who it was, Makepeace went and visited two residents in the Cranberry Village who had been to a meeting here and were concerned about the sand Makepeace told those residents that the bogs would be completed in July of this year. Just if that is any assistance.
I wasn't at that meeting, so I don't know what was said. I do know that Makepeace, and this is from them, have told me that they have had very productive meetings with the president or the board at Cranberry.
This was Makepeace sent, I think it was Mike McFaven, I'm not sure. Went and visited 2 residents, not the board.
Okay, yeah, and again, I wasn't there, so,
Well, at that time, he said the bogs would be finished in July.
thank you. Meg, you had something?
Sure, just that there still are no bogs, you know, over, right across the street, so this should be looked at as a continuation of the earth removal on Federal Road, starting in 2010. Mr. Ward, before he retires, he can verify that he saw earth removal at 46 Federal Road, starting in what, 2011?
Well, if we stay on 59 for today, that would be much appreciated.
All right, so but it all goes back to the same point of where the cranberry bogs. So they've been mining that whole strip right next to Cranberry Village, whether it's on 46 Federal or it's 59 Federal. They've been mining there, doing commercial mining in a residential district, saying they're building cranberry bogs, but there are no cranberry bogs, not one cranberry has been harvested.
And that is why we're here talking about it.
50 acres. So how long are you going to let them keep mining? They started this in 2010. There's going to be 26.
Thank you very much.
16 years, is that long enough?
In the back?
What kind of time frame does Mr. Mazen have to present this information?
We're going to ask him to bring this all back to us on January the 6th.
Thank you.
Could I have your name, please?
Gail D. Thomaso?
So, if there's anything that you think further you need from me, if you can email any concerns, Bill, of any more information that you have that you can dig up. If there's any more color I can add to this through town council, we can certainly do that. I do appreciate you being here. I do appreciate you helping us. We are trying to get to the bottom of this, and we're trying to do our job here as a board as good as we can, and whatever help you can give us to do that will be greatly appreciated.
I'm happy to do that for you. I just think that the January 6th deadline is, it's really a month away from today for all intents and purposes with holiday seasons and what have you, and then difficulties dealing with the people that need to be dealt with to come up with the information that you want. It might not be completed by January 6th. I mean,
Well, get what you can.
okay?
Come back on the 6th, please, with whatever you can. It is a terrible time of the year for us to be looking at it, what with holidays and timing and such like that. But at this point, we've had a long time at this permit, so time is of the essence.
That's fair.
So I do not want to take Attorney Sheehan's advice and stop this. So whatever you can do to get us to find that you are in compliance, whatever information, we're going to get it to Attorney Questle. She's going to look at it for us, of course, and then we will go from there. If it's incomplete, it's incomplete, but I'm going to implore you to do your darndest to get us as much information as you possibly can at that time frame. Does the board have anything else for Mr. Madden?
I'd like to ask Mr. Madden to bring the applicant with him at the next meeting.
I'll make that request, yes.
Thank you very much.
Roger, you had something? Looked like you were moving towards the mic.
No, I had not on this topic.
Okay. Mr. Ward? Okay. Attorney Questle, is there anything you can add, anything you want to close this topic out with for us that can help color the situation in a little bit more as you've been sitting there listening?
We're going, just to summarize, we're going to be expecting some kind of answer as to the numbers and why the numbers don't add up. And And also, we're going to be looking for a timeline for when those bogs will be installed,
Excellent.
built. Not really sure.
All right. Bill, thank you very much. I do appreciate you coming in. Sorry that you're the only one there on the hot seat today. In January, you'll have a representative from Makepeace with you. They can help shoulder some of the heat.
It's not a problem. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you very
appreciated.
much. Okay. As you all know, Judy is not able to be with us today. There are some continued meetings that I have to recuse myself from. We do not have a quorum to do that. So the continued public hearings for ADGA, 2 of them, and the site visit of Zero Pond Street will be continued until the January meeting. With that,
I have one other item.
yes, please.
Just a reminder that we should add to the agenda for the next meeting to discuss the continuation of the 70 trucks per day at Pontiff.
Yes, that's right.
And if you want to show up for that, Mike.
Yep, I'll have them through.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all.
And I'm really glad you brought that up. You had talked about having some truck slips with you, some load counts.
Yep.
If you can provide that to the board prior to,
I'll provide with the board.
that'd be great. Mr. Thomason?
I have a question on the calcium
Yes.
pills or pellets. Why can't they work when the trucks are on the road, on the main road, to mitigate dust?
Not sure I follow that. So calcium chloride is a dry granular product that they put out with a spreader. And what that does is it melts into the soil to hold this dust down, keeps the soil moist. What happens when the trucks drive over it, if it's very close to the asphalt, it comes off and then it tends to be a dusty patch right at the transition from asphalt to soil.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does now, but I might come across stupid here, but you have something called green slime? A green slimy product you put,
You wouldn't spray that on asphalt?
no, not asphalt, on the top of the trucks with the sand.
Yeah, that wouldn't hold up on a roadway.
So the dust that we're talking about is road dust. So the top of the truck is covered by a tarp.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So as the truck drives over the dirt road, it dries out after they water it. And then as it dries out, it gets dusty.
Thank you, it's important to understand.
Attorney Champ?
So are they applying that in the buffer zone to the bordering vegetated wetland cranberry bog? That whole road for 104 Tremont goes right through the buffer zone and over the riverfront area, and that's part of the violation of the Wetlands Protection Act, because they are not supposed to be doing that work, any work there, without a final order of conditions, which is what the administrative law judge said in his decision. And so not only are they putting this road through the riverfront area, now they're putting calcium chloride on it, and I personally have seen the dust flying off the road into the cranberry bogs, and I have pictures of it. So the dust is polluting the cranberry bogs as well as unlawfully going through the riverfront area. And they're operating without a final order of conditions.
Thank you very
As we have
much.
informed you and the Conservation Commission and DEP. So
Thank
this
you.
is what you are approving, operating without an order of conditions under the Wetlands Protection Act.
Thank you for your comments.
Well, can you answer my
And-
question? Can you answer my question? Are they putting the calcium chloride in the buffer zone to the bordering vegetated wetlands at 104 Tremont Street?
I think you heard that answer.
No, I didn't.
the
What's the
back?
answer? Can you answer?
I can't compel him to talk.
Well, can you, through you, Mr. Chair, can you ask the applicant, can you ask Mr. Pontiff's representative, whether they are applying calcium chloride in the buffer zone to the bordering vegetated wetlands at 104 Tremont Street?
I can ask.
Okay. Can you
Mr.
ask-
Diamond, if you so choose.
Can you define the buffer zone?
A buffer zone is defined under the Wetlands Protection Act and the Carver Earth Wetlands Bylaw as 100 feet from the bordering vegetated wetlands. So the bordering vegetated wetlands is the cranberry bog itself. And then there's a 100-foot buffer from that where you cannot undertake any activity that would dredge, fill, alter, change the chemical composition or biological condition of the wetlands associated with the buffer zone. And you are working in the buffer zone at phase 1, 2, and 3. So you should know what the buffer zone is on your site where you're doing earth removal.
You can direct those comments and questions through me, please.
Okay, so I'm directing
Thank
it to you. He asked me a question.
Yep, that's
So I'm
absolutely
telling you
correct.
the answer to the question, you can convey it to him.
No.
You are not applying any...
So question's been asked and it's been answered. I think you've got your point across today. Thank you. Mike, thank you. In the back?
Oh, hi, Pat Killeen from Copperland and Moore. I was told by a DCR representative at Miles Standish State Forest that any non-compliance with the buffer zone along the forest border and boundaries has to be handled by whoever okayed the permit for that project, which is the RC. So I just want to say that there is non-compliance. There's the buffer zone, I think it's 50 feet from the border of the forest to Pontiff site. That site is in non-compliance. And the DRC had confirmed with me that the demarcations on the trees that I saw along the hiking trail, that indicated the border line to the Pontiff sand pit. There's, in some areas, less than 10 feet.
Okay.
So I don't know who has the authority to hold Pontiff responsible for that non-compliance and somehow fix it. I don't know how they can.
We'll look into it.
Mr. Chairman, I can jump in here. It's
Yes, please.
definitely not you.
Okay.
So the Wetland Protection Act. and the
wait a minute, wait a minute.
Hold on.
I'm speaking.
Hold on.
The Wetland Protection Act and the Wetland Protection Bylaw are administered by the Conservation Commission. You do not have jurisdiction to determine what is buffer zone or not at this point.
Thank
That's
you.
up to the Conservation
But
Commission.
it's not a wetland buffer, no. It's just your 50-foot buffer. There's
You call it a
there's
setback of
My
50
understanding is
Understood.
there's no wetlands it's not an implication.
So if you have a setback in your order of conditions, if you have a setback on the plans that were associated with your order of conditions, those would be administered by the Earth Removal
Right.
Committee, but not wetlands.
Right, so...
It's not off the tip of my head right now. I was part of the board when we authorized this permit, when we issued it. What I will do is I'll ask Jen if she can disseminate to the board the orders of conditions for that. And it seems to me, and you guys can help me, that that buffer zone was diminished by us to allow for a safer slope. But I can't absolutely recall that. So if Jen, if you could get that information out to us, the application and the orders of conditions. And then furthermore,
I don't think that's the case. I remember what you're talking about.
yeah, I can't.
I
and
think
again,
the issue was they didn't cut back to the point that they didn't cut back to the proper point for the plans.
Right. So, we'll dive into this a little bit, but if the representative from DCR is pointing out a landmark, it's really not something that we can go by, unless it's an engineered plan or a stake or something that we can actually see.
You have a picture before you. That
The edge of the road is not typically what we would go by, right?
Right.
So-
There is a picture that I...
Okay, well, obviously,
But I did want to mention also that while I was there at that point overlooking the Pontiff site, I was seeing what icebergs get called calving, where the large chunks of land were literally falling off. I wouldn't go closer because I was afraid to get any closer to the edge, because I could see across the pit calving happening with large chunks of land literally dropping into the pit from the forest.
So that's the reason for the buffer zone, that you would stay away from the edge of that anyway, right?
Still, it should be 50 feet. It's non-compliant, I think.
Mike?
Yeah, I'd like to dispute that statement. We've gone around the whole perimeter that runs adjacent to the state forest. We've actually roughed in the slopes for the entire perimeter of the property, so that's
Thank you.
correct.
So we'll look at the orders of conditions, and then if you guys have any pictures or any documentation that you want to have, it needs to be submitted 48 hours in advance. It can't just come up. We obviously haven't had a chance to look
I
at it.
appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does the board have anything else before we close this?
No, just a statement maybe from Mike that everything so far is within the plans. Any deviations at all from the plans?
No deviations from the plan.
Mr. Chair.
That's going to do it for us for tonight. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
You have not continued public hearings yet.
Oh, okay. So that is not something that I can do, so how does that work when they don't have a quorum here?
It's an administrative act.
Okay.
He can do it?
It's
Okay.
just, no, he doesn't have to, just the three of you can
Okay.
continue the matter. There was a request to continue, and you don't have a quorum anyway, so you couldn't hear the matter.
Right. So if you guys want to talk about continuing until the January 6th.
Since we don't have a quorum to discuss this matter, I suggest that we continue the matter until the next hearing in January.
Okay. And that's for 0 Fuller Street and 0 Mayflower Road, is that correct?
That's correct.
Do I need to take a vote on that?
Yes, a vote to continue it to January 6th. That's
So
it. Yep.
the motion is to continue 0 Mayflower Road and 0 Fuller Street until the next meeting, which is January 6th at 3 PM in this room.
I suppose we should add on 0 Pond Street since we're discussing that as well.
Okay. I have a second on that, Mr. Wood?
Second, yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Okay. So entertain the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Roger. Second?
Second.
Mike? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you all, really appreciate it.